Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Welcome to our class, and today we'll discuss about the part of Ramayana where the sages are given the knowledge by Suta, and which they express their gratitude by expressing that he has demolished all of their ignorances. And he has also described of what the world would turn into when this era, this Kali Yuga, enters the world. And some of the verses that we are studying from back some days would again start from the verse that we didn't study. And the verse says, Kurvantyo griha bhartrinam ajyam bhetsyanti atandritaha. This verse we studied yesterday, a part of this verse we studied yesterday, and the next part it is said that every person in the house, every younger person in the house, and it is demonstrated by women, and actually we do see that girls and boys, sons and daughters, very oftenly nowadays, not listen to their parents. And this is called Kali Yuga, and it's described in the scripture that whenever this era, this thought, this feeling, a destructive thought appears in anyone's mind, it completely derails him from the right way, right path. He forgets his ability to understand what is right and what is wrong. And nowadays we see this. We could see the example of what had happened to the society when it not follows, when it not regulates, when it not abides, when it is not aligned by the rules that are developed by our ancestors. Today there is a rush that I am superior. There is a rush to go up. And in that rush, we are forgetting the morality, the moral values, the moral ethics in our lives. Children are no longer understanding and respecting their parents in the sense that they should have understood them and dedicated and showed their gratefulness to their parents. There is a rush. Everyone is moving, is pouncing to move forward. Boys are moving, and even girls. Today there is a surge in this community and what is that? It says that girls are nowhere inferior to boys. Everywhere people say, everywhere there is a word, a distinguished language is spoken in this community nowadays, that no one is inferior, no one is superior. It is good. Up to this, it's good. That no one is inferior to anyone. Everyone should be treated equally. But what is the destructive thought that so-called even politicians, some politicians, not all, have taken this word, this sentence, this thought process for their own benefits to the community and tell that girls are nowhere inferior to boys. They are equal to boys, whatever way. And now the society is tending towards equality. And everyone says, the girls are saying that we are equal, we have equal rights, we have equal, we should get everything in equal proportions as boys get. Education, well, you should get education. Everything. And this thought from education is now tilting towards destruction. We should have equal rights of education. We should have equal rights to move here and there. We should have equal rights to wear anything we want. And we could see how the society is demolishing itself, how the society is completely pulverizing itself by this destructive thought. And in this thing, regarding this matter, I want to say something, that girls women, mothers are nowhere equal to boys, to men, to this men's society. They are nowhere equal to men. It can never be equal. In fact, they are superior to men. They are superior to men because they have motherhood in them. They have the quality of generating someone. They have the quality of creating someone. All men, we all people stand here because we were created by our mothers. So a creation can never be greater than its creator. Mothers are creators. Mothers nourish this environment. They raise this environment. They can never be inferior or even equal to men. They are superior to men. And now what happens in Kali Yuga? This is called Kali Yuga, when these destructive thoughts appear in our mind. We forgot ourselves. We forgot our abilities. We forgot who we were as mothers. And now we are shouting and we are warring in this community to get equal rights. You are not equal. You are superior to men. This is called Satya Yuga. This is called superior thoughts, superior feelings, because you have motherhood in yourselves. You have the power to nourish, and the nourisher, the one who creates and nourishes someone, can never be inferior or equal to them. Then he or she is always superior. That's why it's said that always listen to your parents, because your parents have raised you up. Your parents are caretakers of yours. They can never harm you. They can never neglect your rights, your happiness. They have always put your happiness before their happiness. So it's the utmost quality, it's the utmost responsibility of any son or daughter to listen to their parents. Never neglect them. It's the greatest sin to neglect your parents, being sons and daughters of theirs. This is called Satya Yuga. When you develop these things, these thoughts, these feelings, these emotions in yourselves, that you never ignore your parents, then you become good people, good social people. This entire society is helping us. This entire universe, this entire cosmos is helping us. And that way, this is your journey. Your journey starts from your innermost self, from nucleus. And your nucleus are your parents, your fathers and mothers, are your nucleus. You're only the visual form of God. If you want to see God, if you want to have attachment with God, make attachment with your parents. Never detach with your parents. If you want to feel the blessings of God, always prostrate in front of your parents. Never hurt them. That is the greatest prayer to God. That is the greatest prayer. Then you may not go in front of any sort of temples or any mosques or churches. You serve your parents. You listen to their words. They are the embodiments of God on earth, and they would not live forever with you. Believe this. And this is truth of nature, of existence, of life. Your parents are not gonna live forever with you. And when anything is abundant, and when we get something in abundance, we forget its importance. When there is abundance of something in our lives, we forget its importance. And now this is what's happening. Today our parents are with us, and we don't understand the importance of theirs. And one day, when they would not be around us, then we feel how much sin we committed not listening to their words, hurting them always. But all the time we hurt them, they always came forward to help us. Then you would understand how much a person is preserved on the lap of their parents. So you should never, ever, you should never neglect, you should never hurt your parents. They have raised you. They have taken so much pain in their lives to make you happy. Believe it. There is no one in this world who could take care of you in a greater way than your parents. So always be aligned with the thoughts, with the emotions, with the feelings with your parents. That is what sage Sutta tries to make us understand. If we want to live a greater life, a life filled with sattva in us, then always believe and always align your life with whatever your parents say. And what next he says, one thing more I want to tell you about believing and abiding by the laws, the suggestions of our elders. Whenever we surrender ourselves to our elders, to our parents, to our gurus, we here have our elders as gurus. Any person at home has his elder as grandparents, as his own father, mother, grandparents, grandfather, grandmothers, his elder sister or elder brothers. These are the elder people in the house, and we here in this life have our elders as gurus. So whenever we surrender ourselves to our elders, what happens? We break down our ego, we break down our snobbishness. And when ego is broken, divinity appears. When ego and snobbish thoughts are broken down by our elders, when we surrender ourselves to elders, and when these destructive thoughts, these destructive feelings are broken down, we become completely comforted. We become completely full of energy. You would feel that when you do so. We feel it every day. So the narrator, the sage, is saying, please surrender yourselves with complete dedication to someone who could take care of yourself in a better way than you can of yourselves, who understands you in a better way than anyone on this planet. Please believe him. Confide in him. Unless we confide, there has to be someone that we could confide in. Otherwise, this life can never go on, can never move far away, can never move in a good manner on the path of whatever way we're moving. So it's very important to confide in someone who knows us, who believes in us, who always tries to make us uplifted. And there could be no greater person than your parents, than gurus, than a spiritual person like guru, and when you're living in a house like your parents. And what happens when our ego, when our snobbishness, when our stiffness is broken? Before, you'd feel it. Before we were a person who remains stiff and rough as a trunk of a tree. But when he presents, when he surrenders himself to his elder ones, when he listens to their word, and when he does everything that are said by them, then he becomes completely flexible, completely supple. He forms ability to present himself in the community, to mingle himself in the community, because he understands and he listens to the words of everyone. And this starts from listening to your parents, to your elder ones, to your gurus. And what more I was trying to say, in the verse, it was written, Kurvantyo griha bhartrinam ajyam. Especially in the verse, this thing was written about mothers. That in Kali Yuga, what is a sign of Kali Yuga? When mothers would not listen to the words of their elders in their family. When sisters would not listen to the words of their parents. Then you know that Kali Yuga has entered the person's mind and influencing him or her. And why is it written demonstrating a mother? Because mothers are naturally. It is the gift of God that mothers are more dutiful, more careful, and have these qualities of sympathy, empathy, nourishing more than men have. Men have gained the power, the literal power of leading, and mothers have got the natural powers of showering motherhood in this community. And that's why it is demonstrated by mother, that when mother don't take care of their family, don't listen to their elders, then you believe that Kali Yuga has come up. And when mothers would not listen to their families, how can a man do? Because mothers are superior to men, as I mentioned you before. When superior something doesn't do it, the inferior ones don't do it. When a king doesn't follow the orders and rules of God, how could his countrymen do? This is how mothers who are superior to men have the greater responsibility to move in a good path, so that all the other people, all the other entities of the society move on the good path. And why? What is the immense quality of a mother? What is the inert quality of a mother? It's motherhood. It's a quality. When I say motherhood, I mean quality. And quality can be developed in any person. Understand me. Mothers are born with the quality of motherhood. And when I speak about men, I mean that you people, you men can also develop these qualities as much as you can, this quality of motherhood. It's a quality. As we can develop the quality of hatred, we can develop the quality of love, we can develop a quality of peace, understanding, brotherhood in this community. The same way, we can also develop this quality of motherhood in ourselves. It's a quality which is gained by mothers naturally, and we can strive, we can persist, and we can valor, hard work to gain these qualities. It's a quality anyone can develop this quality. And in Kali Yuga, the opposite thing happens. The person moves away from these good qualities and hurls himself deeply into bad qualities. And then what happens? In the next verse, the sage is saying, Pakhanda lapa nirataha, pakhanda janasanginaha, yada dvija bhavishyanti, tada vriddhim gataha kalihi. Those who would not be living greater lives, nor would they be trying to live that lives. Those people, those hypocritic people are considered wise people, then you believe that Kali Yuga has entered the society. And in this verse, a particular word, dvija, has been described. When those people are considered dvija, what is dvija? It is a word that describes that when a person develops his inner divine abilities, when he becomes a divine, look, everything is in ourselves. Divinity is in ourselves. We have everything. Divine powers, good powers, bad powers. We have good cells in our body. We have bad cells in our body. And we have good cells in our body too. We have everything. All the forms of existence, all those forms, all these elements that we see outside our body, all the forms of universe, all the structures of universe that we see outside are minutely present in our body too. And that's why we say that we and the universe are related to each other. Because whatever we see outside, we have equally gained all those abilities, all those things in ourselves. And so there are all the qualities in ourselves, in us. Good qualities, bad qualities. It is unto us which quality are we gonna spark and fire and blaze and raise the quality. And when a person raises his divine abilities, raises his divine qualities, the qualities of his inner soul, he becomes dvija. He becomes a wise person, not wise person, spiritually wise person who never does anything bad in his life and uplifts this community and this world in a way that always is meant for the welfare of this entire existence. And when that thing doesn't happen, a person who is not following the words of Vedas, a person who is not following, who is not abiding by the rules and regulations of scriptures. What happens? And when he is that person, that hypocritic, that person having pretentious activities in his life is considered a good person, a Dvija, then we should understand that Kali Yuga has entered. This is what Sage Sutta is describing to other sages. And even what worse? Ghore Kali Yuge Brahman Jananam Papa Karminam Manah Shuddhi Vihinanam Nishkritischa Katham Bhave. This is the worst form of Kali Yuga, that hypocritic people take seats, take stands. And we see that today, I shouldn't speak it in that way, but I tell you one thing, let me tell you one thing. We have seen, and we are seeing the so-called religious teachers who are nowhere close to the scriptures take a stand, take a stage, and start fooling people. Many people in the society are fooled by such so-called religious teachers. And that's why today the people have turned their heads away from this spirituality. In any spiritual place, wherever we go, what we see, there are so many looters standing there in form of whatever we can speak about. So I was telling that when such people start fooling people, fooling normal people, and take stand in the society, then we should understand that Kali Yuga has come up. It is the worst form of Kali Yuga. And the narrator now describes even what is the worst form of Kali Yuga. When people are indulged in sinful activities, and when they are not looking, they are not providing themselves for the cleanliness, for cleaning the dirtiness of their inner self. We might see people stronger and bodily stronger from outside, but from inside, the person might be very sinful. The person might be very dirty emotionally, from inner self, from his thoughts, from his actions. So in Kali Yuga, the worst form of Kali Yuga is when the normal people turn into complete uncleansed people and the dirty people. And what I mean by dirty, that they are dirty by their dirty works, by their dirty feelings. And when this thing happens, we should understand that the worst form of Kali Yuga has come up. So the narrator is describing this about what is the worst form of Kali Yuga, when this dirtiness prevails and encases this entire world, entire self of a human, then we should understand that the Kali Yuga has achieved its highest form. So today we learned and we discussed about how should we be in our lives, and how should we be, how should we turn our lives, how should we live our lives, believing and aligning with the thoughts, with the suggestions, with the orders of our elders, and we should never neglect them. And this way, it is the only way we could preserve ourselves from the harmful effects of today's era, that we see degradation in the society. We could save ourselves from exploiting ourselves. We could save ourselves from bad qualities that exploit ourselves every day in a manner that we never understand that it is degrading us. So it's our responsibility that we save ourselves first. Because when we are saved, then only we could help nourish and save this entire world, entire nature, entire human race, and why human race, entire creation on this planet. So today we end this class here, and we speak and we discuss and understand the rest verse in the next class. Take care of yourselves. Thank you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.